Hey guys, let me do this full screen here. So I have the camera off. So I'm going to do just slides and quite a bit of screen sharing today. Let me know that you can hear me on this beautiful Tuesday. It is July 28th, and this is episode 128. So kind of cool. I'm a little bit funky like that with numbers. Let me know in the comments if you're like that. I think our whole family's like that. I don't know if they got it from me, but my kids, my husband, we're all crazy about like certain times of the day. We text each other at certain times of the day. It's become a thing. All right, so it's just me today. Renee will be with us next week, and I'm going to do mostly screen sharing and slides because this is going to be a technical how-to. I'm not even going to do the regular intro that I normally do. So first I want to make sure that sound is coming through. Make sure, just especially when I don't have the camera on, I want to make sure it's not grabbing, my camera mic, which it shouldn't. I have my regular mic here, but always good to just make sure when I don't have the camera running, because that's also my mic sometimes. But yeah, just let me know that you're here, comment and say hello, and let us know where you're watching from. We do multi-stream, not only on our business page, but in the 22 Social Dream Builders Facebook group. If you're watching there, great. Also on our YouTube channel, we're live, so that's kind of cool. You can stream to multiple places. So I'm going to do, let me see if I even have, I don't think I have the intro slides. I think we run right into it. Yeah. So I'm not even going to do the whole intro that I normally do. We're just going to go right into the training for today. Again, let me know where you are tuning in from. And if you have any questions, go ahead. Cool. Hey, Dee, haven't seen you in a while from New Jersey. Hopefully the weather's nice over there. It's hot here. I'm in the northern central valley of California, so a lot of heat in the summer. Peru. All right, so we've got Posadas Ricardo from Peru, close to my ancestors. My family is from Bolivia, my mom's side. Okay, so let's go. This is what we're going to talk about today. I'm not even going to do the intro. I'll do a little bit of wrap up if you're new to 22 Social on how you can learn more towards the end. But this will be a technical training. So I'm going to go over installing a membership app. There's the quick install that installs a blank app, but also I'm going to do I'm going to do it from a template just to save time, but I'll show you both ways. If anyone has questions about that, let me know. I will also link to and let you know the exact template I'm using so that you can install the same one and follow this same process that I'm doing today. We're also going to talk about editing your access settings. So these are the settings you set up that tell you how you're going to let your members join. Are they going to pay monthly, yearly? How much are they going to charge? How often are you going to charge them? What's included? Is there a Facebook group? All of these things you set up in what's called your access settings. And I'm going to go over that today. And then we'll also talk about how to edit the content. So where you can edit your text, your copy. So sometimes I say copy and people are like, what do you mean? So your web copy, your sales copy, the text in your app, and the media. So images, videos, and other types of widgets, whatever you want to display, countdown timers, things like that. So how to edit that and how to control that and manage that, whether you're doing it on a straight install from scratch or with a template. Definitely want to cover the share preview post, more on the technical side than the importance of it, but I will talk a little bit about that. There are some resources. There is a whole tutorial on these concepts and, an overview of it that if you haven't watched, I would definitely check that out before jumping into any of this. But this is kind of the next step. Once you've got that down and you want a little bit more how-to, I'm going to get into the technical today. And then I'll go over some additional options if there's time. I'll kind of gauge the clock to see where we are at that point, and see how questions go, because there are other things that are not, you don't have to have, but they're nice to have, or, so I may even just think of them as I'm going along and go, oh, I forgot to mention this. So we'll see how that goes. And then depending on time, if I can't cover that, I'll just jump to the end where I will have a list of support resources for you to get more information about everything we're talking about today. Okay. All right, cool. It is brutally hot in New Jersey. What's it like in Peru? Unless cool is your answer to that question. All right, cool. So here's what you need, just to make sure you have it. There's only 3 required things you need. The rest is all optional. Some of it's recommended, but completely optional. You can do a membership with just these 3 things. So you need a 22 Social account, you need a Facebook business page, and you need a payment processor, either PayPal or Stripe. Everything on this list except 22 Social, unless you're getting it free because you have 3 or more referrals, is free. Okay, a business page is free. And then there's no charge for getting a PayPal account. You'll need a PayPal business account, which whether it's personal or business, it's still a free account, or a Stripe account. Now, PayPal and Stripe will charge a fee for when you make sales, but their fee is identical. They both charge the same amount. So aside from that, setting up an account doesn't cost you anything. There's no like monthly charge or anything like that. So those are the 3 required things you will need. Here are some optional recommended things that you don't need. Most people will want to have a Facebook group for their membership, but it is not required. Okay, I do recommend it though. If you're going to have a Facebook group, then you'll want to check out. I'll put that in the resources, but there's a couple of tutorials I did heavily on Facebook groups and the settings. But that's optional. If you do go with the Facebook group, just make sure it's closed or private. Those terms are interchangeable. What used to be called closed are now called private. As long as it's not public, the term public has never changed, thankfully. But the old secret is now called hidden. So hidden or secret or public, you don't want those. You want it to be a closed private group. So they can't just automatically join, but it needs to be searchable. It needs to be able to find it on Facebook. So that's why you need a closed or private. Another optional item is your CRM, which is your customer relationship manager. Also, people call these their autoresponders or their email newsletter. Think like MailChimp, Aweber, ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, Infusionsoft, MailerLite, MadMimi. I can go on, right? So 22 Social integrates with dozens of those. And if yours isn't on the list, let us know. We will do what we can to add it on there. And then another recommended thing to have, but you don't need to have right away, is your copy. Think about what you're going to say, what you're going to write. So have that, start jotting these things down, what you want the sales page to look like, what your copy there is. If you're going to set up an autoresponder with an email newsletter, like a welcome email, what would that say? What are the first steps and things like that? And then the members area, which is what people have access to. It's basically your membership site. It's the part of the app that people have access to after they've paid. What does that going to look like? So what is a copy? And then what do you kind of pictures or videos or whatever you're going to include? That's something that you want to start thinking about now. You don't have to have it to do this though, because you can totally just write it as you're going and, do it without images or video. It's not required, just highly recommended. And lastly, you also want to think about what, how much you're going to charge for this? How often are you going to charge? What's included? So is access to the Facebook group included? What are some of the things if you're going to have, maybe you're selling courses and now you want to do a membership, do your members get free access to your courses? And these are things you can do. They're a little bit more advanced and technical. We won't get into that, but knowing ahead of time how you want to do this, just overall, like, I know I want to have a Facebook group and I know I want to offer both monthly and yearly, and maybe I'll give it a slight discount for yearly, and working out those numbers. Those are the kinds of things that you just I recommend having thought about, have ready. But again, the only thing required to set this up is your 22 Social account, a Facebook page, and your payment processor. Cool. All right. So it is kind of cool over there. Awesome. Thanks for the update on Peru there. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into installing your membership app. So, and I'm going to pull something over here while I'm doing that. Let me actually move this out of the way for a second. And I don't know if I have my little, all right. Let me see if I can do this really quick. And I thought I was really prepared. I'm going to go into, I have an extension that I'm going to, oops, not settings. That is not what I wanted. I want more tools, extensions. I have turned off the 22 social extension. I've turned them all. I usually turn a lot of these off when I go live. I have a little window resizer that I use. It's pretty cool. And I want to open that up really quick. And I think this is the one. Nope. So what happens when you get a new, you reset everything. Okay, so now I'm way off. Let's try that again. And I'll just use the one I use for my membership because I know that one works. OBSA. I've just recently updated that one. Okay. Or not. Okay. Forget that. That's taking too long. I will just go full screen. I like to make it a little bit more compact so you guys can see, what we're doing. So let me pull this back over here, change what I was doing. And what I want to do is I want to log in to just a regular Facebook account that, so I can do it from scratch, because I think that's the best way to learn and see it when you're doing it from the beginning, as opposed to all of these things already installed. Now, I did say that we would do an install from a template, and that's because I'm going to be saving time. So again, if you have questions about how we got to that, then let me know. I will definitely go over that. But I'm going to install from a template, and I'm going to log into Facebook, make sure I'm logged in with the correct account. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to there's a tutorial, and I'll put this in the resources. It's actually, I have a slide that lists it, that has, and I'm going to open this over here in the window that you guys are seeing. Not that one, this one by itself. Okay. And then I'm logged in as me here because I want to show you this before I kind of go to the other step. And actually, I probably could just copy this and log in over here in my other window. How is that not public? Okay, I'm looking at it over here really quick with my test account, and for some reason, this isn't coming out public. All right, I'm not found. Come on, guys. All right, so it's in the notes. There's a direct link to this. It's going to be in the resources. I have a slide for it, but this is what I was trying to get to. This document here, this note, if you haven't seen it yet, it's called Create Recurring Income with a Subscription Membership for Your Dog Training Business. And the reason the template we use, you've seen in some of our tutorials, has dog training is because we built it along with this kind of case study. So I will link to this so you can find it. But reason I wanted to come here is there is a link here. If you keep scrolling, it talks about the benefits of a membership. There's a case study, a replay with Heather Beck, and how she's doing really well. She's a dog trainer. And there's a link to get a free trial and all of that. But here, once you get to the bottom, you'll see this click here to install. You can click on this link, which I will have a link to in the resources. This is the same as going to your account and clicking the green button that says install a new app. And I'm going to just install it here on, am I not logged in to, because I don't have a 22 social account with this one. Okay. Okay. So let me not do that. Sorry, guys. I have to do this as Monica, as myself. Okay. Bummer. Okay. So I'm just going to click here. The other account I was going to use doesn't have a 22 social account, so it's sending me to buy one or sign up for one. So see, you do need that. It's one of the things here it's required is a 22 social account. The other reason I didn't want to use my account is this page here. I don't want to scare anyone away, but this takes forever for me because I am an admin of probably, I think now I'm up to almost 100 pages now. And at least half of those I've got over a dozen 22 Social installs on. So you can imagine, I do a lot of this. And so this page takes a while. And this is what I was trying to avoid by using my setup, my test account. But, you know, I'll just keep talking while this loads. Again, this should not take as long on your end. And while I'm waiting for that, let me pop some of these back out of the way. I had it in the wrong place. Check comments really quick. Where can I find the membership app? Awesome. Yeah, I will put, okay, what is going on? Why is that not working? Well, that's not good. Can't ask me to do a demo if the server's down. So the membership app, so any app can be a membership app. This one here that is, if you go to, I'll have the direct link, but since you're asking, Rita, if you go to 22 Social, the 22 Social page, if you're watching us on our Facebook page right now, click the Notes tab, or just go to facebook.com/notes/22 Social. And then on the 22 Social page, on the notes page, there'll be a note. I think I can just go backwards did I go back out? I don't want to edit it. It's a little bit different when I'm viewing as myself, because I'm an admin of the page. I can edit the notes. You're not going to see it the same way. But I'm just going back out to 22 Socials page and the Notes tab down over here where it says Notes will bring you all of our notes. Again, I'll give you the direct link to this, but for those who want to kind of just jump there now. And then it should be towards the top somewhere. It's this one here. You'll see the little picture of a dog. Click on that. That's going to bring you to this note. There's a bunch of stuff in here. Definitely good stuff. Go through and check it out. But as you get towards the bottom where you see the case study, there's a trial link to start for free. And then I mentioned that there's a template you can use. And then it'll say, you know, once you have your account. So for those of you who already have 22 Social, you can jump down here, click here to install. And it's not letting me install, which is a bummer. Renee, I don't know if you're watching, but maybe you guys can reload the servers. That's kind of a bummer. Let me see if I just go straight through to the main template. And if I duplicate. So whether you go to, I'll bring this over here. This is what I did. I just clicked on duplicate here because I'm just duplicating this one that's already installed. Or whether you go there or you go to your My Apps and you click on install, right? So I'm just let this load for a second. Again, I have tons of apps, so things get a little bit slow here, but let that load. Come on, buddy, My Apps. The green click install a new app button. It's usually right about here. That's what you click on. We'll do the same thing as this. It's going to pull up your pages and wait. I'm basically duplicating this. So if you have an existing app you ever want to duplicate, you can do that. Just a little duplicate button here. But that's really all we used for this template over here on this note. It's the duplicate link for that original app, which I don't want to edit because this is a public note where people are going to make copies of that. So I don't want to make changes on this app here. There's My Apps. So here, this green button that says install another app. When you click that, you're going to see, which it's not working, bummer. You'll see that same, this connect right here, which it's going to give me an error in a minute. And if that's not working, if the server's down, then I can't even do this today. Sorry, guys. I mean, I can work in this one, but I don't want to make any changes to it. Which it's weird that I can see this one. So maybe I'll play around with one that I have already. Let me find another one. Hopefully, I'll send a message to Renee and see if he can get that, like, reboot that server or something. I don't know. I'm not that techie. I don't know anything about servers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait for my apps to load. Things are pretty slow here too. Why is everything slowing down? I don't have anything else open besides the presentation and a few tabs. Yeah, it's just a little bit laggy. Let's see. I used this one for a demo once. Let's see if it at least opens. So if you go to My Apps and you click on any of these orange buttons, it should open your app. Okay, so the server's not down for all of 22 Social. It's just the install. Oh, there it is. Maybe he fixed it. Okay. Well, hold on. Now that that's working, let's try that whole thing again. I'm going to click this. Maybe it's working now. Maybe I just needed to talk through it. All right, let's close this. Let's close this. And hopefully this goes through and we're back to where I was. Because I'm able to get in on these other ones. Maybe he was watching and listening. Let me bring the other one up here. Yeah, because it's letting me at least get to this point. So you'll install it on your page. This is not the page the app I want to install. This was just me clicking the install a new app, right? This one right here. So that's how you install from scratch, blank. What I'm doing is I'm installing one that's a copy of another one so that I have some stuff pre-filled. Here we go. Awesome. Okay. So this is me clicking the install link, which I will link everyone to so you guys can have it if you want to start from here. And let me just pick a random page to put this on. I'd like to keep it on the same one that I have the install or the template on. So let's do that. And so you see how I have this big long list of pages. That's why that process takes so long. This should be seconds for you guys, hopefully, unless you're like me, which hopefully you're not. All right, so you're going to click that install a template from scratch, or you can install from an already pre-made template, which this one is. So that's the first thing you want to do is install. And so I'll link to that so you guys know. And when you install it, it's already got a few things pre-filled. Now, for starters, I want everyone to understand that you're always going to start on the main content side because you are logged in as to 22 Social. So as long as you're logged into Facebook with the account that has 22 Social, you'll see your picture and your ID up here. No matter how you visit this app, whether you're installing it, whether you're visiting the gate or you're using a discount code or anything, as long as you, the app owner, the account owner, are logged into Facebook, you're always going to see it like this. So that doesn't mean that it's not working and the gate's not working. Why am I seeing this? The public is going to see the front end, okay? So long as you have it turned on. So just wanted to clear that up. You're always going to be here. And to get to the front side, which is what people see first, you switch from main content to app gate. And this is your sales page where people opt in. This is what people are going to see first before they have paid. Now, this will only apply if you've enabled it, okay? So if the gate's enabled, this is the side people see after they've registered. So how do you enable the gate? Let's go to the front, the gate side, and you just need to turn it on. Now, this template already has it enabled. So if you use the template and you're following along, you should already have it enabled. But if you're starting from scratch, then just come to this side and slide this over to enable it, okay? You're not published yet, so it doesn't matter whether, you know, that it's enabled. No one's going to see this until you publish. And this little toggle up here at the top is where you publish. All right, so let me make sure I'm seeing, getting questions and everything's coming through. Okay, good. All right, so this side, the first thing you want to do is install. The second thing I talked about is your access settings. So that was that part two. You know, we're installing your membership, which should have only taken a few seconds, and that took forever. It's a good thing I didn't have the beginning. And then the next step that we're going to talk about is editing your membership access settings. So remember how I talked about How do you want them to access? Do you want them to have monthly, yearly, all of that? You're going to have a group. All of that is done on the Gate side. So switch to Gate and look for this button that says Access Buttons. All right, so you've got your access buttons, the settings for that, and you also have advanced settings. So we're going to start here with access buttons. And you want to set up your buttons. So when you start from scratch, this will not be pre-filled or anything. It might just say your button or add button text here, or maybe blank. So you're going to figure out, do you want to use number one, PayPal or Stripe? Those are the two membership processors we go with. And then the next question is, okay, great. Because you're going to decide, is it a PayPal subscription? Is it a Stripe subscription? And then after that, how many options are you going to offer? You're going to offer up to 4. So what some people like to do is like monthly. And then the second button over here would be yearly. Okay. I'm not using any other buttons, not in this template, but if I wanted to offer maybe I'm running like a Black Friday or Cyber Monday or something special, right? I don't know, it's my birthday. And for 24 hours, I'm giving a one-time, a lifetime access fee. It's like a special, right? Or whatever. If you wanted to just charge a single payment through Stripe or PayPal, you could also do that and like as a limited offer. This is not getting into all of that. We're just going to do 2 options. We have PayPal subscription monthly for $9.99 a month. And the second one is yearly for $99 a year. So when you go into, I'm going to back out, when you go to AppGate button settings, access button, sorry, you're going to click on each one of these tabs here to see the 4 buttons. If you're not seeing all 4, you can kind of drag this out a little bit to make it bigger. You can also toggle here if you want on the bottom. But this is where you're going to select what it is. You're going to choose either Stripe subscription or PayPal subscription. You're going to enter in the button text. You could add subtext. It's optional. There's some times where we've used it. You know, like sign up monthly, and then you can put only $9.99 a month. And then for the yearly button, you can say sign up yearly, and you can say save 50% or whatever your percentage is off if you're doing like a deal. I'm keeping it simple. I'm just putting button text, no subtext. This doesn't really matter on a Gate button because they're going to stay in the same place after payment. So this doesn't actually really need to be checked. I'm going to uncheck that. But it doesn't matter if you have it checked or not. It doesn't really matter on the Gate. And then these are the settings that you can set up. CRM settings, like I said, is optional. And so are discounts. So I'm not going to cover those right now. I'm going to just talk about PayPal settings. And then, you know, we could do a separate tutorial on all you setting up your CRM and all of that. I want to be able to give you the basics to run a membership, you know, and set it up technically to get paid. So click on PayPal settings. If you choose Stripe, it will say Stripe settings. So depending on what you use, it'll be different. Okay. So for PayPal, you're going to enter in the name of your product, your seller name, your initial amount, select your currency, the recurring amount, and your period. Okay. And I'll kind of back into those a little bit. Your subscription period is you have to choose between weekly, monthly, quarterly, 6 months, and yearly. This is if you go with PayPal. All of those decisions are made here. You don't even really log into PayPal except for here when you have to connect your API. It'll prompt you to log in. You come back, but you don't do any settings in there. With Stripe, you'd set it all up on Stripe. There's a tutorial for that, which I have in the resources for you. And you can walk through that whole tutorial on how to do it for Stripe. And then Stripe will give you a number that you come back and put in here. Okay. So let's talk about this really quickly. This name that you put here, that's what's going to show up on like the invoice, the email that comes from like PayPal, the identifier in PayPal, the email notification that comes letting you know you have a new purchase. It'll be a purchase of whatever you put here. So if you just put XYZ membership for both of these buttons, you want to be able to identify like yearly, monthly, you won't know that unless you name it. So I like to put in here something like monthly. Like my membership is Online Business Success Academy. It's OBSA for short. And my product name is OBSA monthly, OBSA yearly. And that's how I know. All right. The initial amount is what they pay for the first term, whatever that is. So if you set up weekly, this is the first week, and this is every week thereafter. If you set up monthly, this is the first month, and this is every month thereafter, okay? Same thing with annual. You can't combine, you can't charge one thing for a week and then from then on monthly. Whatever your subscription period is here, that's the initial and recurring amount for that period, okay? So this is a $9.99 initial and $9.99 recurring. What's cool here is you could make the first month $1 or $5 or something like that, and let people know, include that in your sales copy. Hey, first month's only $5, join today, and then it's, you know, whatever, $20 a month after that. You could also do the opposite, where you can make this like $100, pay $100 now and get all this stuff. And if you stay with us, it's, you know, $10 a month to continue. And a lot of people will do that if it's some type of group coaching or some type of maybe mastermind program where they'll charge a large amount up front, $100, $200, $300, which includes a one-on-one session. And then if they want to stay and continue to get group help and access to your Facebook group and other things, then it's like 10, 30, 40, whatever a month. That's one way to do the opposite. Most people do it where, most people just keep them the same, $10 and $10. They don't change it. But if you're going to change it, most people will do this like a deal, like the first month is a discount. But there's no restriction on how you do that. Then also for PayPal here, this is where you're just going to click here. Make sure you're logged into PayPal, or when you click here, it'll prompt you to log in. So if I click on that, it's actually going to take me to PayPal and ask me to sign in to your account to PayPal. All right. And then when I sign in, it will take me to the place in PayPal where I will see API username, API password, API signature. If anyone has trouble with that, let me know. Platforms change all the time. If I need to do an updated training on how to connect your API because the old one doesn't work or it doesn't make sense, these are things that are really helpful to let me know. But you'll just click here, you'll get those credentials and then paste them in here from PayPal. And that's all you need to do. The CRM and the discount is optional. And to save time, I'm not going to really get into that. But you're also going to do the same thing if you're offering a different term. So that was monthly. That's my monthly button. You can also drag these around. If you've got several buttons, you can just move these over and put that here. And this could be something else. But I only have two. I want monthly first and then yearly. So if my monthly says sign up now for $9.99 a month, this one's going to say sign up now for $9.99 a year. So whatever your pricing is, okay? Same selected. So I'm going to tab back over here. This is still the same thing, PayPal subscription. They're both PayPal subscriptions. The text can be different. It's the settings that we're going to now change. So the product name should be whatever you had before, and then yearly, weekly, annually, however you want to call it. And then here you also do the first year for a certain amount and this every year thereafter a certain amount. Whatever this amount is here, whichever they choose, the monthly or the yearly, start low. That's one of my recommendations. Start, if you think you're going to eventually charge $30 or $40 a month for your membership, and you're not quite sure, should I do 10? Should I do 20? Pick the lowest number that you could possibly think of right now and start with that one, because you can really incentivize people to get in now while it's only $99 a year or while it's only $9.99 a month, right? Because the person who comes in, they come in today is what, July 28th. They'll be in your SRM as of July 28th. If a month from now on August 28th, you now decide, okay, it's no longer $10 a month, it's $15 a month. You come in here and you change this to $14.99 or however, whatever you're going to set it up as, a higher number than it originally was. Everyone who's currently paying or came in from July 28th through today, that whole month, their rate doesn't change. They're locked into PayPal at the rate that they originally paid. Unless they cancel and then come back, they have to pay whatever the rate currently is. So it's a really good selling point. Start low and let people know that, by joining and not canceling, they're locked in. They'll have that rate for as long as they stay. Okay. And let me know if any questions on this part, but those are your button settings. Once you enter in your PayPal settings and you get your credentials, you just hit preview. And then I always recommend going up to the top and hitting save changes. Save as you go and confirm that. So you'll need to know what your pricing is going to be and whether you're going to use PayPal or Stripe before you do that. The next thing is the advanced settings. So those are and let me close that so I can show you where those are. Those buttons are right here. So when you get this template and you want to change what this button says on the gate, you go up to access buttons. If you're using a blank template from scratch, it won't have a picture. It'll just have a placeholder. It'll say your text here and your button here, right? You can edit those by going up to here and editing those buttons. We will get into text and media, but that's the most important thing is your settings. And then your advanced settings, this is where your group is. And these other things are more advanced. We won't cover today, but the group access, if you're going to have a Facebook group, this is where you put the URL to your group. So go to your group. Let me just copy that so I can go to it. See what group that is. I might have just put some, yeah, I think I just put some random group in here. So like there's nobody in here. This is just a random group we were testing with, right? So this should actually be the dog one, which I think I created one a while back. Yeah, so here's my dog training group. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to put that in here. And I'm a little concerned that the template has that in there. Because I duplicated this from the template and we shouldn't have a Facebook group in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit preview and save for now. But I'll go back and remove that. What I want this to say for the template, this is not the template. I'd have to go back to the original template. For example, I think I have that up still. Let me come back over here. Here's my original template, right? Should be. Yes, that's my dog training template. Advanced settings. Do we have a group in here? We do. Okay. Add your group URL here. So hopefully it lets me save that. It doesn't say that's not a URL. So if you ever get that, it's not going to work. But in my case, I don't care if it works because this is just a template. If you ever get an issue like that, click a different button, right? Maybe that's not going to work. It's not going away. Usually it goes away and then hit preview. Ah, it's not going to let me do it. Bummer. All right. HTTPS. Will it let me do that? I don't think it has. It's got to have a .com. Invalid Facebook. Oh, it has to be a Facebook group URL. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm going to do facebook.com. What is it? Groups or group? I think it's groups. Let me just look at this other one. Facebook.com groups / and then a bunch of numbers. All right. So I want to put that there. It doesn't need a .com. Just so people copying this template, how is that an invalid Facebook group URL? Are these supposed to be numbers? It's because of maybe it's because of that. Sorry, guys. Shouldn't be messing around with this right now. But if you guys are all going to run and get this template, you definitely don't want someone else's group in there. Okay. All right. So I'm just saving. That's on the master template. All right, so this group here is your Facebook group. So go to whatever your group is that you want people for your membership to join, copy that URL and put it here, okay? Very important step right here. If you don't catch anything else, catch this. Do not check this box unless, let me hit preview, unless when people buy and they go, yes, I want to pay $9.99 a month or $99 a year. After they click that, so this is what they'll see. They should see this page, right? It'll have your page ID up here. So this is one of our test pages. That's why that's up there. But it'll be the purchaser's information here, their email, their picture, all of that. And they'll hit continue. They will continue. They'll go to PayPal checkout. Once they've paid, PayPal will automatically spit them back here. If it's Stripe, they'll actually enter their credit card information right here, like here in this white space. They don't go to PayPal. So it's a little bit different depending on if you go Stripe or PayPal. Either way, once they pay, they automatically get spit back over to your app. Okay. I don't know if that's the right term, spit, but they get redirected back over here. And then they see this side. Okay. So they automatically, now that they've paid, will see whatever you have on the main content side. So I'm going to switch back over to AppGate. I want to just point that out. When they click that, that's where they're going to go. If, going back to advanced settings, this Facebook access, if you check this box here, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, where it says send the subscriber to your group after gate registration. This means that when they first register, they will be directed to the group. They will see the main content when they revisit the app. So unless you're sending them back to this same URL later, they're not automatically going to see this. So there's a little bit information you can click on how that works. But when you check this box, what happens is they click pay. They see that nice little page where they have to click continue. They pay, and this is where they end up. And if they're not a member, it will say, let me go back to that other group that I was not a member of. It'll say join group. So right after they've paid you, this is the first thing they see. And unless you told them that was going to happen, they'll probably be like, okay, what do I do? Do I join? Sure. What do I need to do? Right. So if you uncheck this box, again, advanced settings, Facebook group, then what happens after they pay is they land here, like it showed when I did that, because it's unchecked. And here is the other side. This is the main content side of your app, where the template has some pre-filled stuff in here, but you'll want to change the way you say welcome. But this is just some templated text you can use. You can change the image, change the button, change all of this other stuff, rearrange your layouts and stuff like that. So you'll want to update that, but I wanted to make sure you know that if you don't, if you check that box that sends them the group, they don't ever see this until you send them back here somehow. So maybe you've set up a welcome email that they receive that says, hey, check out the members area, and it's the smart link back here, then great. But what if it goes to spam, or what if they don't see it? So there's very few reasons where I would recommend checking this box on advanced settings. Send the subscriber straight to your group. Rarely. So if you have that checked, just uncheck it. They will get to this group by following the instructions they see here. Here is the main content, which is where they land after they pay. Okay. And here's where you want to say, hey, maybe add some text and say, step 1, join the group. So to edit the text on either side of these, let's go back to the gate. You just click the text button. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to edit whatever's in here. So you can edit the heading, you can delete the heading. You don't have to have subtitles and text and content, and you may not like everything that's written in here. This is kind of some pre-filled text that says, here are some things you could do. And this is, of course, leaning towards or set up for dog trainers, right? So it'd be a little bit different for whatever your situation is. But basically, it covers the formula that we went through in the workflow, which I will also link to. There's a membership workflow that goes over every piece and what you should say here and what you should do here. But I don't go over the technical, like how to edit it, as much as I am doing today. So the how to do technical stuff we're talking about today, but concept and copy and the theory and psychology behind all this stuff, you want to check out the workflow tutorial, which will be, I'll have a link to that at the end. Okay. So figure out what all that's going to be. And if you do use the template and you're using Stripe, then you can just delete this part here, because I had that in there before we ever offered Stripe. PayPal was the only way. So I like to put that in there. It's still 100% secure checkout. You can just take out with Stripe if you don't use Stripe, or leave it in if you do, or either way, right? And if you don't have a Facebook group, remove any references to your Facebook group, like here's what's included, your copy and stuff like that, access to our private Facebook. So kind of go through it and make it. But this is where you're going to say what you need to say. And all of this copy, whatever you write in the content up here, when you go to text, the content is below the media. Okay, so the heading and the subtitle is up top. Okay, and then picture here between this subtitle and the content. So let me just make this a little bit bigger. Oh, it's not letting me drag it down. Between the subtitle and the content, this is where, like in here is where going to be all of your pictures and media, images, anything like that. If you don't have any of that, then you'll jump from with your canine to is your dog not listening. So let me show you that here. Okay. So there's with your canine. Then any media you add will be here. So if you add a video or you add an image, it's going to be after the title and subtitle, but before the content. So is your dog not listening? If I take this out, maybe you don't want to use this picture, you have a different picture, or you just don't want to use a picture at all right now, or you want to switch it to a video. The media button, which is the second one after text, is where you edit that. And you can have up to 5 different kinds of media. And media doesn't have to just be a picture or video. Media could be a form. It could be a countdown timer. You can stack these too. You can stack up to 5. A Google presentation, a map. There's video galleries and video like image, like a carousel of images or a single image. So this happens to be a single image. But if you don't want any media, you can turn that off or change it to something else. But see how it jumps from with your canine to is your dog listening? Just wanted you to point out that between this top header part and this content part is where all of the media lives, okay? The buttons live after the content, but before the footer, okay? So let's go back into text. In the text section, you have heading and subtitle. That's that top part, right? That ends in with your canine. And then whatever your media is will be after that if you add it. And then the content is this big long section of all this content down here. See where it says all this stuff? That's content right here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so you can put as much content as you want in here. The last thing you say at the end of the content box is what appears before the buttons. So the last thing I say in there is join now for $9.99 a month. After that is going to be my button or buttons if you have more than one. And then after that, if I wanted to add footer text, that also happens in this section down here. So you see, you're doing all of the text first, but just keep in mind that the buttons and the media also fall somewhere in here, right? So let me just hit cancel. It's this, then your media, then all of your content text, then any buttons you add, and then your footer text. And sometimes we don't cover that enough, and I just wanted to let you guys know that's how it lays out. And any questions about that, let me know. I will answer them. I'm going to just put this back. If you hide it and you come back, as long as you didn't delete it, like I didn't come in here and like hit the delete button and remove it. I simply just hit it. I can always come back even after saving it and just decide to show it again, which I will. And this is a template. It looks like it's a video that's going to play, but it's just, I'm sorry, this is just an image, not a template. In the template is just an image here that I made look like a video. But I would recommend maybe putting a sales video or changing this image if it's not a video when you download this, okay? Because people are going to think they can click it, and that's not the case. You can't do that here. So that's the gate. The main content side is the same. It has the same editing. It's just a different way that you get to it. So on the gate, it's very straightforward. Edit the text, edit the media, your buttons, and then some advanced settings. On the main content side, you actually have to go over to content, which is the last orange button. And that's going to open up these gray bars here where you can edit each section's text, media, and buttons. So remember on the gate, we had text, media, buttons, and then advanced. Over here on the main content, depending on your layout, so you can change your layout, you can change your style, you know, that's your background color, your buttons, whatever font you're using, you can do all that. Your layout is like how many, the way sections are laid out, but the content is the actual pieces in there. So the header has its text here. This section here has text, media, and buttons. So if I click on text, I can then edit the heading and the content and the footer of this section. This follows that same pattern. So if I add an image, my text, my header text, my text is going to be below the image, but above the button, and my footer text will be below the button. So if I just put some sample text in here, so the heading and the content are right next to each other. So heading, not getting, heading, heating, XYZ content, blah, 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 right? And then random footer text. Okay, so I'm doing it all in one single like text box. Like this box here is where I'm filling it all out. But when I hit preview, it's actually that part's above the button, this part's below it. All right, so your heading is the heading for everything, but in your individual sections, it's going to be media, content, buttons, footer, media, content, buttons, footer, just like this. So keep that in mind as well. Same thing as on the gate with the media here. You have 5 options. You can stack them all together, or you can hide them, and you can do different things. So if this was, this is a membership, so it wouldn't have this. But for example, let's pretend this wasn't, and it was a webinar, and you wanted to add a countdown timer. You just pick that. You set your date, right? Let's do sometime in the future, right? So it works. And you hit preview. Now I've got an image with a countdown timer below it, right? So you can do things like that, or you can just put another image or a video or an opt-in form or something, a survey. I don't know, whatever. There's so many different media types. I just wanted to let you know that these 5 stackable media types here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as soon as it shows up here, are all stacking on top of each other. There we go. Okay, so I can add another one, or you could just not have these things in here. And if I remove the photo as well, then all I've got is my text. So you can control how this looks. Hopefully that makes sense on how that all works. I'm going to just leave that there for now. And then buttons, same thing. You can actually have up to 4 buttons. And here's what I was talking about earlier when I said if you don't see them all, like this only shows 3. It just kind of depends on your browser settings. Sometimes it's funny, but if you just drag it over, now if I scroll back up, see there's 4. You can have up to 4 buttons here, okay? All right, I know this is a lot, but remember how I said you connect your group on the gate settings, right? What was it called? Advanced settings on the group. Let's come over here. Gate, advanced settings. And you go to group access. This is the URL of your group. As long as you do that and you put your Facebook URL of your group here, whenever you link to a group button on the main content, it will automatically be a link to your group. So you don't have to add that group URL everywhere, which is really helpful if your group, if you have like a vanity URL and it changes. All you have to do is change it on the gate, and then everywhere else you've linked to your group button will auto update. Here's what I mean by that. So I'm going to hit content again, because see how when I came here, there was no editing. You got to click the content to see these gray bars. All right. So I want to edit the button in this section. If I wanted to add a button in this section, I would hit button here and edit those. So it depends on what section you're in. And this is where I say, join our Facebook group. The text above the button might say something like, hey, check this group out. Or now that you've paid, the first thing you want to do is join the group. We're going to ask you these questions, make sure you answer them correctly, or let us know the password, or however you want to do it. The tutorial workflow that I went through kind of goes over some examples like that. But either way, the button here is where you're going to say, go to our group. It could just simply say Facebook group, right? Whatever you want it to say. And here's where I am using subtext, because I like to let people know, hey, we may not add you in right away, give us up to 48 hours. So depending on how well staffed you are, or, if you think you're going to have a big launch with a lot of members, kind of gauge what that is. But then again, that's just options. So the type of button, there's lots of different types of buttons. What we used to have to do is hit URL and then paste the link to our group again in here, right? Facebook group, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to do that anymore. There is a group button which will automatically pull from the settings on the gate. So as long as you add it to the gate, everywhere that you add a button and you choose group as the action type, it will automatically link to your group. And that's nice for if you do use a vanity address and you change it, just change it on the gate. All these buttons will be linking to that same one. Okay. There are lots of other options you could have for buttons. but I usually recommend making that. So instead of checking that box on the gate that sends them all the way to the group so that they see, you know, this first after they pay, you want to send them here and then let them know, hey, join the group, click the join button. You know, it'll take 24 to 48 hours to get you approved, or whatever your process is. That's what you want to add here. Okay. And then these other ones are the same. So every section has those same 3 options: text, media, button. Again, you might want to pull this over, and you can add different buttons. If I click group again here, doesn't matter what I say here. I could just leave it as, you know, button, random button, right? And I hit preview. Because I selected group, when I click that, it will take me to my group. So let me just hit save and click this button. I should go to that group. And if people who have already joined, they'll go right in. Like this one is a group that I already am a member of. It says joined up here, see right here. But if it was this one, if I hadn't joined yet, I'd see something like this, right? If it was the other group. This is actually a group I created, so I'll see that I should be the only member in here. All right, so so that's just a little bit of styling and things like that for content. The final thing is the preview. So I think that's what we had. That was the last thing I had on here, right? Editing your copy and media. We just did that, right? Let's come over here. And yeah, the share preview button. So let me toggle back over to this. And that's this. If you remember from the workflow, if you haven't checked it out, that kind of goes over all of the components. The preview here where it says FB preview, it's really tiny. So let me make this bigger. Up here at the top, it says FB preview. If you hover over it, it'll say Facebook share details. When you are ready to publish this, so let's say we were ready to publish it. Okay, great. You now have a link that you can share. That's your smart link. Okay, and it'll default to the vanity. If you wanted to use something else, you have other versions of this link here. You can use the permanent link. You can use a direct sign up, other things. But for most people, the vanity will work. Let me can't hit cancel. This is really big in my face here. But once you hit publish, you'll also see your link up here. So this link, if I copy that and I share it on Facebook, and this would be a good time to share using my other account. So let me go here and just get out of this note and just go to home and make a post. If I was going to say, check this out, and I just paste that URL, it should populate a link, and it's not doing that. Let's see if I just hit enter, give it a second. There we go. So it will populate a nice post, and I could say whatever I want here, and this will be the preview image that gets generated when I hit post or share or whatever. The way you edit that and what that's going to be is here where it says preview. Hold on. Let me unpublish it because I don't really need it to be published. I just kind of wanted to show you the concept of what I mean by the preview. So click on this button up here, this option here, and you should see this. And here, the template, if you're using the template, will already have an image, which you can then hit choose and upload your own image. So if I wanted to choose like a random image, I could just go to, let's see, I think I have like some test images. That's admin. Let me go to Drive. Don't I have a test button here somewhere? Test files. All right. So test image. Thought I had one in here. I must have done something different with it, but let's just pick like this. This has nothing to do with this, but if I hit upload, I'm just picking a random image from my computer. That's the image that will show up here. So you just click on choose file. It even gives you a recommended dimensions that you can use. And then you change your title and your description. Don't worry so much about the description because it will get cropped. So as long as your picture and your title is compelling enough, maybe the first 5 or 6 words, what happens is they'll see this in the post. So if I go ahead and share this, I'm just going to do only me for right now, just because I don't know who's friended me on this account and I don't want them going to some random, but I hit post, right? So this shows up as a post like this. Somebody scrolling through their newsfeed, they'll see that image and see how I only see learn the skills, let's see, to project authority, command respect, and gain obedience, ... So when you're setting this up, you only have a limited number of characters here anyway. It'll cut you off, but even that limit, it doesn't show everything. Looks like we only got to gain obedience. So right about here, and then it starts to cut off. So it's not even, the preview isn't even showing that same thing, right? The preview makes it seem like you'll also see this. It really just depends on where they're viewing it. Are they on mobile? What type of screen they have? Has Facebook run an update? So my whole point is, don't rely so much on the majority of this text because they're only going to see a snippet of it. What's really important is the image and the title, mainly the image. The title and the image, this whole thing is clickable, but you've got to get that image to really speak out to get people to click. This is the first impression people are going to get of your app. So if you use the template and you're not a dog trainer, you definitely want to come in here and make sure you do that, because all of the changes you make here in your app, and then you go to publish, this last step, if people forget that, it's whatever's in there. So if you're just using a template from, I mean, not a template, but you installed it from scratch, you're not using the dog trainer template. You just went to your account, hit on install another app. It'll just have a random check out my page, like image. I don't know what the regular install is, but I think I had like a random one before. If I just go to my apps, I'll check, but I'll let that load. I'm going to look at questions. Those are kind of the main pieces. All right, cool. Who might be able to help me tie this in from another LMS I have? Oh, Dave Hobby, here we go. Can you display ClickFunnels landing page within this tab? You can't really do that. So I'm familiar with ClickFunnels. I have clients that use ClickFunnels. Usually it's either 22 Social or ClickFunnels. I don't recommend both. This kind of replaces the need for that because this is your landing page. And it syncs to your SRM and all that stuff. So that might be a question for another day. But just to answer this one, Dave, can you display a ClickFunnels landing page within this tab? There is no HTML embedding. There's embedding for lots of different types of media. But there isn't a straight HTML like on a website. Oh, it's still loading this. Let me see. Oh, this is my account though. Let me just click that for now and let that load. Let me close this and answer your question, Dave. Let's see. Come on, buddy. And if I go to content, I was trying to get back to this little media. Let's just pick this one. You can embed things. There are things that you can embed. You may request, if there's a certain type of platform you want us to integrate with, definitely send that to support. 22s.com/support will get you to the help desk where you can submit that. Letting this load, I think it's because I got this other one running. There are codes for, like, I think Infusionsoft forms we added not too long ago, like last year, Google Forms, Jotform, embedding. We used to embed Blab when that was a thing, but then that went away. You can embed Facebook posts, so anything native to Facebook, a lot of those are in there. But check out the media section. This is really slowing me down, huh? It's this install that I'm doing on the back end here, overtaxing my system. But kind of toggle through these. These are some like forms. So like if you choose this, then you can enter in, this will just ask for the form ID, whereas I think some of these will add like a code. So you'll need your embed code, like the official embed code from different platforms. But ClickFunnels is not one of the platforms. Hope that helps answer that. Photo carousel, you would need to use, you would need an Imager account. I think that's the only one we offer. So here where it says image, you choose the Imager album. They used to have other ones, but they no longer function. So we removed them. Facebook was one of them. Facebook image, you can't embed those anymore. So your only option is a single image or an album. And if you click on Imager album as the type under photo, so there's no media, there's photos, videos, this is audios, these are social icons, this is streaming, these are forms, and then this is just random other stuff, different stuff, right? So here's where if you had a request for something, you can see if we'd be able to enter that in. But to answer your question, Michelle, you would then need the imager.com/a link, which you'll get from Imager. You can get a free Imager account, create an album over there. And your URL should look something like this. It gives you an example of what one looks like. It'll be an / with like a code, and plug that in here. And then you can choose to have the different navigation. So you create an album, plug it in here, and then try these different options to see how you like it, like preview it. But that's where you would do that. Good question. I'm glad you think this is awesome, Dave. Cool. Yes, so video, definitely. So in your account, Michelle, I don't have it. I remember it was like 023 manager, something like that. Remember that? I kind of remembered what it was. Let me just pick a random one that I could do on the same. What is this called? The Modern Entrepreneur. Am I running out of space? All right, I've got a sandbox page. There we go. There's so many pages now that that's loading. But so Michelle, for the videos, go into media. And I recommend Vimeo. That's the one I like. I don't even know if we have. Oh, we do for YouTube. So YouTube or Vimeo. I think you use YouTube, so this will work for you. Let me tag back over here. That's still trying to load. Under video, it's video gallery, and there's a explanation text here, a link to learn more articles. So anytime you check one of these media types, for the most part, there's usually a link to where you can read a support article on how to do this. You have to choose either all Vimeo or all YouTube, but you would just enter the YouTube ID numbers like this, separated by a comma, and that will create a video gallery as opposed to a single, just like whatever the number is you put here, like XYZ123, the YouTube ID, you would just copy that part of the URL for every video and put them all in a carousel. So I do that a lot for courses when I do like module 1, and it's a module 1 actually has 5-minute videos or whatever. That would go into the module 1 section of my course. Good question. All right, so that's pretty much it. We did not have time to get to the advanced stuff. I didn't think we would, but I wanted to show you, once you have the preview post, let me get back to this, the preview post setup. I want to make sure that you understand where that comes into play. So that whole workflow that we did before on a membership workflow, that's the first impression people see. So the first thing they see, whether they click from anywhere, from your Instagram bio or a button on your webpage or a link you sent them through an email or text or however they see it, or a Facebook post like this, when they click on that, that's what's going to get them to say, yes, I want to know more. So that's that preview post that's really important. And that starts the whole process of going through the whole thing of getting to the gate. This copy formula we go over in the workflow. So I'm just doing this really quickly here. They go and they confirm, they pay, and then they have access to the main content. You're notified that you got money. They get a welcome email if you've set that up, or a messenger if you have a chatbot set up. Those are all extra things you can connect. And then on the main content is where you want to link to send them to the group and then have instructions for that. So this whole workflow, there's a process we went on that. This image here at the beginning is the what starts it all. So that's why you really want to make sure that image grabs them. So don't forget that. I know I saved that for last, but that's kind of a big deal. So here are those support resources I talked about. I'm actually going to add a few more to this, and I'll put it in the description of the video. The note with that workflow that I'm talking about is tutos.com/notes/tutorial. The dog training membership case study note that has the template install link is here. I know it's a big long number, but these will all be clickable in the description. I'll add them as soon as we're done here. Give me about 10-15 minutes once this ends. And then that template install is in the note above the case study, okay? And then there's a tutorial on using the Chrome extension, which is a really cool way to use your group, manage your members if you have a group. And it's kind of a snippet from a previous episode that we have, and I just made a little snippet. So I have a link to that too, and I'll let you know. So let's see. That is that tutorial I was talking about. And let me get over to see questions one last time before we wrap out. Video carousel. Yep, I answered that. Okay. And I don't really have time for the closing, but I do want to do our winner. So I'm going to run through this really fast. You do need a Facebook account to use 22 Social. And Facebook pages are free. And once you have a Facebook page with 22 Social, you will then connect your landing pages or apps like your membership to your business page. And when you share them on Facebook, they're great on there. They look good with the preview post we just talked about, but they also can be shared anywhere with an internet connection. You'll have a place to share that. I always recommend putting that smart link for your app behind your Learn More button or whatever your call to action button. But this is that plain install look. So if you don't use the template, it'll just be plain like this, and you can customize all of your colors and all of that in your content, your images. But the membership install link with the for the dog trainer one at least gives you a starting point. If you wanted to follow along with that template in this video, that's the one. But you could also just start from a blank one and make it your own, however you like. It's kind of up to you how you want to do it. But lots of people are using this for lots of different things. And like I said, it's mobile friendly. So you do need a 22 Social account to use the membership. So make sure you have that and a Facebook business page and then your payment processor. And then you can restrict content, not only as a membership, but you can also do free restrictions, one-time payments. So some of the ways people restrict content for free is like contests or downloads or some type of lead generation, which could be an intro app to your membership, right? You give them a free checklist PDF download, or you run a contest that gives them, I don't know, 1 year access to your membership or something like that, right? Which collects you leads for people who would be good members for your group. And then those are the people that you can then tell about your membership, right? A one-time payment is another option. We didn't really cover that today. We did more recurring payments, but you could charge one time for like a course or coaching or your time. And then, of course, memberships, which we did today. So this is that walkthrough of where you share your link. It takes them to the gate. This is where they will sign up if they're interested. When they click that, it's a Facebook registration. They simply confirm who they are. Their data will kind of fill in here, and they could change it if they want, check and uncheck boxes. But they confirm here on this page who they are on Facebook. They are logging in with Facebook. And then they have access. They'll be able to kind of go through everything that you've created on that main content side. For memberships, this would include, most importantly, is a link to your group, but anything else that is included with membership. You, the owner of the membership, the owner of the Facebook, the 22 Social account holder, you're collecting leads. And those leads that are grabbed from the Facebook profile, you can see by clicking the SRM button at the top. All of your members will be listed there. In this example, with PayPal as your payment processor, you also have a link to their payment profile. If you ever needed to check that out, verify it, or match who they are on Facebook with who they are on PayPal, 22 Social actually eliminates that whole hassle, because the name on Facebook, it doesn't matter if it doesn't match the PayPal address. This is kind of the glue between them. And then if you use things like that 22 Social Connect extension, which I linked to in the resources, I've gone over this a number of times, but there's a whole video on this. Makes your members, the names of your Facebook members in your group or anywhere on Facebook, if they're trying to join your group, a certain color, and you choose what color that is based on if they've paid or they didn't. Is it time to kick them out? Have they canceled? And you can definitely have results like this, running your membership, getting that email from PayPal or Stripe, letting you know, hey, you have a new subscription. So I know I've kind of sped through this really quick and I didn't do the intro, but if anyone is new here and likes what they saw today or wants to learn more and not quite sure where to start, we do have what's called a Dream Builder Blueprint. It goes over different aspects of, an entrepreneur's journey in the business on the right way to do it, and the people who've had success following this path. So if you want to know more about that and where you fall on that map, right, on that blueprint, we have an assessment you can take at 22s.com/dream. It's completely free, and it'll help you figure out where to get started and give you some pointers. There's also a course that we have on those concepts that would go really well with some of the training tutorials like the one we did today. And you can actually get that course, access to all of the training, along with your 22 Social account for a year with a bundle deal. So we have the Dream Builder Bundle. It is the Dream Builder course, the blueprint course on all of those concepts that I normally do cover in detail at the beginning, a little bit more at the end. And I told you guys today I was just going to kind of speed through that part because there's more training. But for those interested in those concepts, there's a whole course built on that we package together with the membership software of 22 Social. So you can earn while you're learning. So everything that you learn in that course, you can implement with the 22 Social software. So check that out. Also, same place you get the free assessment. It's 22s.com/dream. This is also something we give away every week. So I don't want to close out yet without announcing this week's winner, who is Rebecca Rader from Pennsylvania, Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Rebecca. You just won our bundle deal. You are this week's winner, a year of 22 Social and the Dream Builder Blueprint course completely on us. Congratulations. Just message our page. We will get you all hooked up. So I ran a little long on this one, but I like doing these tutorials. I hope it was helpful. It sounds like from the comments that you guys got some good info today, and maybe can help put that workflow a little bit more into practice, right, with some of the tutorials. And maybe we'll do a more advanced down the road, like the CRM part of it, or the Stripe side of things. And you guys can ask questions about different types of embeds and things like that. But lots of great information on those individual subjects already exist. And furthermore, in that workflow tutorial, so definitely check those out. I will give me about 10-15 minutes. I'm going to copy that slide that had all the resources, and I will put that in the description of this video. I'll do it in all three places in case you're watching from YouTube or in the group or on the Facebook page. I'll put that in there just a few minutes after we're done here. All right, so let me take one last peek. I don't see any questions. If I did miss your question, I apologize. Hey, Barrington, Rita, Michelle, Dave, cool. All right, guys, take care. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.